Welcome to Getting Ghosted. This is an Intuitive Soul Collective podcast, and I'm your host, alllll Horner. Hey everyone. So just a side note with this week's episode, for whatever reason, my microphone for some reason didn't work. So the sound's going to be a little bit funky on this one, but I recorded the entire episode that way. You might hear a little bit of echoing. I tried to clean it up as best I could, but just kind of hang in there for this week. And next week, I promise I will have it cleaned up a little bit more. Hello, everybody. I am back. This week is such an interesting energy. First, I'm going to start with our gene key of the week, and then we are going to move on from there. So this week we have had gene key 45 in play. This one is the shadow of dominance and moving into the city of communion. So remember, when we're in the shadow state, it's just a collective frequency, essentially, of fear, right? And this is what we see: fear, control, power dynamics, all sorts of things. When we're moving into the Siddhic state, which is the highest state, it's really truly almost like a transcendental higher consciousness state, what a lot of people experience during enlightenment or Satori experiences. It's when we're in a highest state of experience and flow, one with everything. And so then the gifted state is the mid state. In this gene key, it's all about synergy. So this gene key is about the energy of groups and resources. And it's all about moving from me to we. In essence, in this one, in the shadow of dominance, what you might see playing out this week is people who are kind of like wanting to own things, who are like concerned with like, it's all about me and mine. It's about my resources, my time, my energy, etc. So I have actually noticed or like people like fighting over ideas, who's in charge, right? Who's in control. And when we move into synergy, this is really where we see groups of people coming together for a higher purpose or a higher mission that's bigger than them. And it's really when they put the need for resources or putting the resources first mindset, like I need the money first, I need the money first, I need the time first. Like when you start to get into the flow and the group works together synergistically, honoring each other's individual gifts and talents, letting each other take over exactly where they need to, everyone finds this divine flow and the mission flows through them exactly perfectly. And it's almost like a perfect teamwork example coming together. And when this happens, people aren't worried about resources, but the resources come anyways. It's a super, super cool thing. It's actually it was such a powerful gene key. I've actually been seeing people struggling with dominance this week and people kind of going, I'm sick of things operating X, Y, and Z. I am just here to work with and find the people who are here to work with me synergistically. And I'm like, I love this. And so how do we find those people? That's what my guides want to talk about today. Because I know a lot of people have been really struggling to like kind of find their groups and their cohorts. And I think this gene key, we're going to see this coming up a lot in this next 400-year cycle that we're going to have starting in February 2027 as well. I think that it's going to be really important that we're learning from these lower frequencies of expression. And so my guides have been coming in really talking about this one this week, and they've been giving me examples of different like groups and teams and things like that operate in very synergistically. And essentially, I kind of went, oh, this makes so much sense. And so one of the great examples of this is the Navy SEALs. So while there can be some ego involved in Navy SEALs, they actually screen it out in a lot of cases. So they are really looking for people who can take themselves out of the equation to complete a mission because they're going into such highly high pressure situations. And so they're looking for people who are not obsessed with their own egos, who don't have to be a leader, who don't have to be seen and heard, who don't have to go first, who don't have to be in charge, who can get in there and go, what is the main mission of the group? How do we all work together? And essentially they go into these high pressure situations and they get into what is called a group flow state. And this happens also when we see sports teams that get into a really good group flow. This is something we see also within groups of people who there's like documented cases of Google coders and people who are like doing coding work together where their brainwaves actually sync up once they get into a flow state and start like doing, creating the code all together, but at different desks or sometimes even in different offices, they saw their brainwaves sync up. And so I think this gene key is so cool because it's all about resources, but it's like, it's all about the money, baby. But like, is it really about the money? Is it really about the time? Is it really about who's in charge? Because it's actually not. It's more like when you get into that flow, when you get into that synergy, and the mission and the energy pouring through everyone at the same time becomes bigger than you are on an individual basis, the resources actually come straight to you. It acts like a magnetic field. So this energy is super, super cool this week. I hope that you guys are working through any of the, like, remember as the shadow of dominance comes up, you might see people wanting bids for your time, bids for your money. You might find that you're worried about your resources this week, that you have some stuff really coming up around that, some fear. Remember that it's just kind of the energy transit of the week. You don't have to sit in it and ask what it's trying to teach you. And just kind of say to yourself, like, okay, what is my higher purpose here? What's my higher mission? Like, let that be known to me. I'm open to creative solutions. Universe, you show me what you got. I found that works for me a lot when I'm like really, really in my head and I'm overthinking things and I'm kind of like, ooh, I'm feeling that lower frequency or whatever, or other people are trying to project that on me. I have been seeing it in readings this week where people are like, man, suddenly like people are wanting to like control my time, control my energy, control my, control my money. They're like having squabbles with me, or they're trying to blah, blah, blah. And I've been seeing this in readings, and I've also been seeing people struggling with fear around their resources or around their time and energy, in the readings. And we have to remember, when we're in these fear frequencies, we're not going to think as creatively or expansively as we could. That's why this gene key is all about moving and working within groups to serve a higher purpose that actually finds higher solutions to our resources, for our need for higher resources. So this is a really important time period where we are going to be able to move out of the lower, denser frequencies, and we're going to be able to start to see some of the higher solutions. But remember, this is all about groups. This is all about communities. It's all about companies. It's all about collaborations. Even like within families, relationships, friend groups, things like that. Even on the internet, like great minds coming together. I kept hearing great minds think alike, but it's actually more about everyone working really cohesively and working together for something bigger. Again, when you start to get into that flow within the group, synchronicity starts to happen as well, and things start to just kind of unfold under your feet. So really watch for that this week. When you get into the flow, when you let go of the fear and you just kind of roll with things, you might end up meeting some of the people that you need to meet on the journey. And so my guides were coming in and they said, also your guides can help you arrange this when you ask them. They can help you find the right people at the right time, and it might surprise you. Like, they're over here like, it might surprise you, so get ready. Because they're like, you might like kind of question at first, like, why am I meeting this person, or why do I keep bumping into this person, or why does this keep coming up? But it might actually be important for you and that person to meet, to talk, or they were like, even sometimes like certain people might be people you're already familiar with, and maybe like the timing wasn't right before, but now it is right. And they said, so really what's key in this is you got to keep your heart open, because the energy of synergy really operates through the heart. It's not about the head. It's not about logic. It's because it's not about fear. Your solutions aren't going to come from logical, linear thinking. If you keep just trying to use your head, and you don't trust your intuition and your heart, you're going to keep coming up with the same ideas and solutions that you had before. You're going to keep thinking in a loop. And they're showing me a dog chasing its own tail, like running in circles over and over and over. And they said, rather than doing that with yourselves, why don't you kind of relax and go, hey, universe, guides, show me what you got. Lead me to the right people at the right time. And then your job, they said, get off your duffs, kind of jokingly, but they said, your job is to kind of get up and do it. Like, go for it. Move with the beat. Like, they're like, find the beat. Find the way that you need to roll through things. Instead of hanging back and kind of saying, I have to do everything alone, it's all about, me and mine. This time period is actually really about you finding your flow within the group to bring through something bigger and higher. And so a larger mission, a larger solution can come through you all. Now, this actually makes a ton of sense when you look at human design as well, because in human design, gate 45 is the gate of the gatherer. It's in the throat center, and it's actually all of the energy that you need for material leadership. So again, this is about actual resources on earth, and how to distribute them the right way and creatively. This is also can be like a king or queen archetype. And actually, the King of Pentacles kind of popped in my head and the Queen of Pentacles popped in my head. But I also was seeing the Emperor. And so this is something that is more, it's all about this person cares about the community more than just themselves. They essentially, the model and the thing that I keep hearing in my head from my guides is servant leadership, which is a leadership style of the type of leader who gets down there, rolls up their sleeves, and is working with the community. Oh my God, you know who's popping up is actually Mom Donnie is popping up in my head, which I also looked up his chart, and I'm actually going to do a quick little read on his chart here, and I think I'm going to put something on YouTube and potentially even TikTok about him, because he has a great chart for this type of like servant leadership, because he's very much the type of person that's going to roll up his sleeves and get in there and help the people. He's not going to always just lead from a top down thing. He's actually doing a lot of things. He balanced the budget right away. Like, really think about this, that like steward, like that leadership. He was out there like shoveling snow. Like, he's actually thinking about like, okay, what can we do right away to help the people that we're here to serve? Keep in mind too, when we're working with this energy this week too, you might, just like I did, like naturally thought of examples of people or teams or groups who fit this energy. What you might find is that you start to naturally have examples pop in your head of ways that you can use your money for better. And I even had a call with a client this week where she was talking exactly about this. And she works with philanthropy and helping people who have like generational wealth or family wealth, like big money, helping them distribute wealth in really helpful ways, and helping them kind of step out of the head and into the heart, as long as they're willing to work with it. Because we have to remember, as we come into this new 400-year cycle and we exit these old systems, there's a transfer of wealth and power that's happening that's going to be sticky. People are going to fight it. Like the old is like a lot of like the old systems and people who dominated and ruled those systems, they're not going to like that power is leaving, that they're losing what they took time to build. And really, it's like their fear of death. Like, there's no reason we need to have so many people dying with piles of money. Like, that just is not necessary. But that's what we're moving into, is like, hey, like, how can we actually use these things for good? So I'm seeing a lot of discussions around money coming up this week and how money can be used. And also, again, people fearing for their resources. And remember, when you get into fear, it's always an opportunity to get into creatively. And so you might want to have some examples in your back pocket of people, teams, systems that work really well, or of ideas of how things could work better in a different way that actually serves the people. Now, the other thing to know about this week and the opportunities that are there is that you might find that some of the solutions to some of the resources that you need are by not thinking about those resources in and of themselves, but rather by following your hunches, following your intuitions. Like we said, like, play with this a little bit, have some fun. Like, the guys are like, yeah, like, play, have a good time, trust your hunches, and also put some goodwill into the world. So for example, is there any ways that you can support other small business owners? Are there ways this week that you can donate to some good causes? Are there ways that you can roll up your sleeves and get involved? Maybe is there a way that you've been holding back from using your unique genius or gifts or talents and putting them out in the world in a beautiful way? Where have you been playing it small or playing it safe because you were worried about your resources? I have definitely been seeing where there's like almost that fear is creating like closed-mindedness for people this week. It's like, it's very highlighted. And I think where a lot of people are really going to benefit and what they're showing me is really following your hunches. And you don't have to just only do this week during the transit. You can do this at any time. Also, for people who are kind of wondering, like in your gene keys, if you have gene key 45, and we all have the gates in our human design, it's just whether they're defined or undefined, conscious or unconscious. And so what you want to like look at in gene keys is, do I have this really prominently in my chart anywhere? And even if you don't, it's still going to be impacting you in some way this week. But it's all about where you're sitting with the frequency on the gene keys. Are you feeling that synergy? Are you feeling that flow with the world around you? Are you getting into a creative flow this week? Are you feeling really good about your resource management this week? Are you seeing extra opportunities to contribute to wealth this week? Are you looking into crowdfunding opportunities? Are you looking into different investing opportunities that could benefit the whole? What are you looking into, and where are you needing to get involved in things that you actually really care about this week? Where are you getting that divine spark? Now, the other piece is, I think one of the things that we have to remember when it comes to resources and from the higher citic state is that when you get into the higher states, right, these enlightenment moments, these aha moments, it's almost like a dawning upon you. It's almost like something hits you over the head with it, but it feels peaceful, exuberant, beautiful, blissful. And in those moments of perfect peace, you start to remember this life is only temporary. And these resources don't go with us into the afterlife. And there's no reason to be so focused on this at all. And this is where we can really find moments of clarity, bliss, and ease. And when we bring that down into the everyday life, the irony is this is often when people actually start to have magnificent things happen to them with luck and with resources, because they're not worried about their resources at all. It's a really ironic thing. So this week, again, there's a lot of opportunity to work through some of this sticky energy around money, fears around money. Just remember, things always work out in weird ways. You never know how things might work out. Is there an area of your life where you might need to let go of the old, or let go of something that you've outgrown? Maybe, and I even keep thinking about certain types of jobs. I'll never forget a reading I did a couple years back where this woman was like, I'm just so afraid to let go of this job. I'm just so afraid to let go of this job. She was just obsessed with the money. And she wasn't even making a killing. It was just she was so afraid that there would be nothing else that she could do. And I got a really clear message for her. And this is not the first time I've gotten this, but I'll never forget her emotional response to it. I just looked at her and I said, well, your guides are telling me there's someone else waiting who would really love this job and who really needs it. And you are going to have something just as beautiful, way more fulfilling, way more exciting waiting for you. But it's time to let it go. And I made it clear to her, you don't have to jump ship, but it is time to energetically let this go, because then you're going to see the next thing show up. And days later, right, before the end of that week, she was out and about, bumped into a friend, and they were like, oh my God, I was thinking about you all week. We have an opening at our company. And she started telling her about the job. And this woman was like, this is my dream job. This is exactly it. She had a job offer by early the next week. That's how fast this company moved with her. I just had this knowing of wow, when things are lined up, they flow. And she got to help look at who were they going to hire for her replacement. And it ended up being someone else at her company was moving into her job, and they had been really struggling. They really, really wanted her job, and they were really excited, but they didn't want to be I want to take your job. And she ended up helping them train and mentor them a little bit. And they were so excited and so ready for it and really needed that promotion and stuff. And so it ended up flowing perfectly. We never know, when we let go of what we think we have to hoard, what we think we have to hold on to, when we're in that scarcity, we cut off the cycles of abundance, not just for ourselves, but for other people. Everything in life is temporary from the spiritual perspective. Things are meant to stay in flow. We are meant to work together as a community. And I think a lot of people say these types of things, but they don't think about how to actually participate in that. They daydream about it and they're like, well, society needs to be this. Well, you are part of society. You are meant to be part of that synergy. You are meant to be part of that divine communion. You are meant to be part of source flowing through and creating beautiful things through you. And so what can you let go of? What are you allowing to tie you down energetically? What would it feel so relieving to let go of so that you can move into something better? Because you have to remember this week, the big thing with synergy is this is all about larger groups and communities. This is all about resources and how they move through groups. This is all about things flowing exactly where they need to be, as long as we don't try to plug everything up with our fear by hoarding and hanging on to things. And also, you never know. Sometimes the things you're letting go of, even when you're scared, sometimes opens up opportunities for something so much bigger and so much more to come to you and through you, and to be there for others at the right time. So truly, this energy transit this week is all about generosity. It's all about the generous spirit. It's all about the generous and curious heart. When we're afraid, we lose our curiosity and we lose our generosity. When we operate out of generosity and curiosity, something beautiful beams through us, and that's when we ironically start to magnetize everything we need to us, because the irony is we're not even worried about that anymore. So with that, I'll leave you with that for this week. And yeah, I hope that you guys will come and join our new channeling course. It is called The Art of Clear Channeling, and you'll get to learn how to clear conduit or lucid channel, as well as learn beginner trance channeling. You're also going to get to learn how to auto-write, how to allow the higher energies to work through your body to send messages not just to you like in mediumship, but completely through you, where you get to actually step into the channeling state, where you get to move out of the way, where you don't have to figure things out anymore. You don't have to play that game of telephone. You don't have to try to interpret. You get to just move aside and allow the other side, or your guides, higher consciousness, the ideas and wit and wisdom that is waiting for you to speak through you in the moment. You'll get to discover really great energy techniques, boundary techniques, grounding techniques, specific energetic blending techniques for this type of channeling, how to move in and out of altered states and still have command and control of your body, which you never have to worry with the other side. But we'll talk about different types of like energetic grounding and protection. You will get to learn and find out, how are you meant to channel? How does your channel operate best? How are you meant to work? What needs to come through you? I honestly feel really excited. Like I feel this energy in my solar plexus of like, ooh, yee, like that kind of thing, where I'm like, I just am so excited to see what comes through everyone in this group by the end of the course. And so just know too, this is a partially pre-recorded, where I will be sending out lessons ahead of time that you can do on your own time, and you'll get to do some live classes. I know that summertime gets really busy for people, so I didn't want to bog everyone down with something where where they had to make the live classes or bust. I knew a lot of people were just really struggling with that, so I decided to make this partially pre-recorded, and people have been like, oh, thank God. So so there's that, and you'll get to learn how to channel through auto writing or channeled writing in this group. So if you've been feeling the call toward that, if that's of interest to you, if you feel like there's a book in your future, or you feel compelled to learn it, like to channel messages from the other side, to channel ideas and concepts and information and beautiful messages of wisdom and wonder and higher intelligence, you're welcome to come and join us. If you feel called, it's likely that it's for you. So this is all linked up in the show notes and in my link tree, as well as on my website. You can sign up there. And if you have questions, you can always reach out to me at spiritspeaker2022@gmail.com. All right, everyone, go and have a wonderful week.